Checkity. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, boys and girls. There was one little button. We are, today is a test day too with a new software that we are using, and we should be good to go now, I believe. Johnny, I think, is hanging out in the background with productions, and I believe we should be good with the audio now. Richie Halpin is hanging out, it looks like. Oh no, not at this cast. So now it looks like we are having another ODZ rider here today. So earlier today we casted the KISS EU race, and the rider Brett Boniface was able to pull off the win in a last second sprint to the line, actually, amongst a ton of riders, and he had already done the ZTR race earlier today. So that was a great result from that rider. Maybe we'll be able to see a repeat from the ODZ boys, as we've got Seebeck right along with, it looks like, Gagnon here, hammered out in from ODZ. So they should be taking a left-hand turn here in just a moment, and looks like they're going to be going up the mountain in reverse to begin with. And head on up the steeper side. It'll take them less time to climb it today, but definitely going to be the steeper side of the mountain today that they're going to be taking on. So we should see some attacks fairly early. I don't think, because it is the steeper side of the mountain today, I think it's going to be a much faster pace right from the get-go. It is Garcia heading toward the front here with LaFontaine. We do have our Harper here trying to go off the front right away. Garcia, then Harper. Brazel, Jeremy Brazel, somebody to watch out for sure in that Training Peaks kit. Currently riding unattached out of the USA. Looking through here, I'm going to get the Facebook chat going here in just a second, as we've got a whole lot of content that has recently been put up on the Zwift Community Live channel. I'm just checking in with Johnny here to see if I can grab that page for you guys so I can interact with chat. Let's see here. So there we go. I think we've got it now. And it looks like, and Brett Boniface is sending me a few messages, it looks like, talking about earlier today. Yeah, Johnny is in Discord. I could chat with you, Johnny, maybe, but we're not going to be able to get you into the broadcast itself. It's too bad we can't grab Johnny just now. It's for some reason with the new software is absolutely amazing. It works really well for bringing in Zwift on board and a few other things, but bringing in the audio can be very finicky sometimes in order to grab all of the sources. It seems it does not recognize Discord as a source that should be picked up, which is interesting. So we'll see. And Johnny's saying that he's going to go to sleep anyways. So it looks like everything is sounding good, though, if he's going to be heading to bed. So I'm going to bring up your guys' chat, though, here right now, so I can see all of the comments coming in over at Zwift Community Live. So it looks like we do have Pierre Ficati up toward the front here, 5.3 watts per kilogram from ODZ, 180 beats per minute. And we do see this three-man ODZ train right away, hammering at the front, just to be as is to be expected. So looks like these boys are going to be absolutely killing it right from the get-go, trying to break things apart as they're heading up the mountain route on the backside here. And so it looks like, followed closely, it looks like by Stramolo out of the US of A. Our Harper is here as well. Von Waddle, Ridgick as well, and Greenberg. Garcia just hanging on to the back here, but it is going to be Weidman and Burrows and Richer who have fallen off already. So already the pace is incessant, as you can see, only 9 minutes in, and already the riders have been falling off like flies. I am going to head on over to zippower.com and see if we do get some live updates from the mountain. I have a feeling that the mountain route might not be quite as populated with as many watchers, and we might have to wait a little while to grab any of the live results from the A, B, or C and D categories. We did not get a chance to leave the event today, so we're going to follow the A racers all the way through their race and all the way to the finish line for that. The race today will be one lap of the Mountain 8, and so I actually have the mountain course up there. We'll see if we can change that up. I thought it was going to be the regular mountain today. I was looking through, so first time covering a mountain in quite a while, actually. So this is actually going to be a fairly long ride today, it looks like, with the Mountain 8 course, though. So it's going to be 31.6 kilometers, but a lot of those kilometers are going to be done right around 12 miles per hour or so. Excuse me. And about 19 kilometers, it looks like, per hour right now, 20 kilometers per hour that they're doing right now. On the other side, when they come up and over the top, it will be going much faster. It will take them probably right around somewhere between 15 and 18 minutes to complete the climb here today. And so Stromolo here at that 5 watts per kilogram, Purificati 5.8, Gagnon and Beck, they are going off the front, all pacing each other. And I'm assuming they're probably chatting in the ODZ Discord right now. 7.1 watts per kilogram here coming from Beck now. Gagnon and Purificati, all three of them absolutely hammering up toward the front. R. Harper here coming out of the US of A, 6.9 watts per kilogram with Lafontaine. Brazel just trying to hang on there with B. Lafontaine out of Canada. Shermolo right on the back wheel there of Brazel, 176 beats per minute, 183. Lafontaine, no heart rate coming from him. Beck here, 159. Harper, 171. Gagnon and Purificati, 186. We are seeing a couple of messages coming in here. Let's see. So Shane and a little bit of messages coming in here over the Facebook. Good to see you guys hanging out on over there. I will open up the Beam as well so that you guys can chat. I'll head on over to Beam. I want to interact with you guys over at Beam to let you guys know a few of the updates that are coming pretty soon to the channel so that you guys don't miss a beat when it comes to any of the race coverage. So it looks like Szymanski is hanging out here over at Zwift Community Live, so that's the place to be. Also, if some of you are hanging out over at the Nathan Guerra Beam channel, it looks like, as well, I would highly suggest, if you want to make sure to get the race coverage, to head on over to Zwift Community Live, who actually is linked in the channel right now because they're hanging out there, to follow the Zwift Community Live channel, because that's where all of the events for the community are going to start being broadcast as well. If you want to watch specifically with the community and all the stuff that Zwift Community Live is up to, then you're going to want to head on over there and hit that follow button, as my stream is going to be the Nathan Guerra stream over at Beam is going to be swapping over to just personal channel, personal riding, just like the rest of you guys have been encouraged to have a personal channel that you're doing your riding on, and we can highlight that on the Zwift Community Live places, which is what we want to do and why we're training up people to have personal channels over on beam.pro. But mine needs to go that way as well, and we are going to be then ending soon all of the coverage that is taking place on the Nathan Guerra channel. So if you've been following on the Nathan Guerra channel for an extended period of time, make sure that if you're there mainly for the race broadcasts, that you head over to all the Zwift Community Live places and follow them so that you don't end up missing any of the live broadcasts, because eventually we're going to stop going live. Probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to stop going live with these specific community events on the Nathan Guerra channel. And then the Nathan Guerra channel will take its correct place in being a place just for the personal riding and personal streaming that the rest of you guys are doing, that we want to highlight as well. We do have, it looks like ODZ still on the front here, 6.3 watts per kilogram coming from Gagnon, absolutely killing it right now as he's chasing down another rider out on course, Jay Neimer, who's not a part of the event, but coming right on by. It looks like Stromolo now 3 seconds off the back from the ODZ rider. It looks like Pierre Ficati trying to stay on terms for the counterattack coming from Stromolo there. And it looks like Harper right on that wheel as well, following very closely LaFontaine, Brazil, but there was one other ODZ rider that was in here and maybe had some sort of a dropout. There were 3. Oh, there it is, Seaback. I do see Seaback here as well. We did get turned around there real quick. I think the reason we didn't see Beck there for a moment was that he had a dropout maybe from the server, so he went into the invisible, the other dimension. Me and Mr. Anthony Porsche were working on that a little bit, trying to figure out why people were disappearing here and there. Maybe on the iOS app there is a little bit of a Easter egg that used to be in there. I'm not sure if it's still there, where you could cause your avatar to disappear, but maybe he just is having a little bit of a connection issue. If you have any connection issue to Zwift that drops out for long enough, then you will disappear from other people and then reappear very quickly. So Beck there, definitely, maybe I just missed him though. Maybe there was no dropout at all. But Beck is here right along with Gagnon, Stromolo, Lafante, and then it looks like we are now missing Pierre Ficati off the back just a little bit there with Harper. But it is a strung out, just trying to hold on to the wheel that's right in front of them here with Harper and Pierre Ficati, it looks like, being the last ones in the line. Brazil having to give up the ghost here, letting those guys go as they are putting out a crazy amount of watts per kilogram on the uphill, 9.3% gradient. This is the point where you really want to cause all of the time gaps, as the greatest amount of effect of gravity is going to be on the riders. So it's really mano a mano, what do you got, no drafting, and full on effort trying to create some time gaps. 4 seconds will go out to probably, I'm going to say 10 to 12 seconds maybe. I know over the top here, so it'll take Stromolo, and as you can see, Gagnon going out to 8 now. 9 seconds as his speed picks up over the top here, and now Stromolo out to 11 seconds. Now the question is, can he hold on to that? Will he attack over the top? And Stromolo fading to 1.7 here. It's going to be difficult to hold the same speeds as Gagnon as he takes those into the climb now. He is really going to gain a lot of time. It was only 6 seconds as he came over the top here. Will it stay there? LaFontaine seeing an opportunity here, drafting on Stromolo, and takes that speed from the draft right into the climb though, and attacks at about 7 watts per kilogram immediately. And so we are seeing then Seaback, LaFontaine, Pierre Ficati, Jay Brazil now 7 seconds off the back from Pierre Ficati. Pierre Ficati looks to have gone into full-on nuclear, trying to hang on to the crazy, incessant pace set by his teammate Gagnon here. Gagnon going out the front still, 5.6 watts per kilogram. Harper there right along with him, 4.9. Stromolo is here as well. Lafante still hanging on the back, but Gagnon continuing to try and separate himself from the rest of the pack, trying to really show his dominance here on the climbing section of the course. Being the Mountain 8 route, it's definitely going to be a hard climb, I believe, all the way up to the tower. I'm going to just make sure, but they're doing one lap Mountain 8, as you can see here. If you head on over to zwiftpower.com, you can see in the upper left-hand corner as well what that looks like. And I believe 8 then goes all the way up to the tower. It's been a while since I've done any of the mountain, that's for sure. And Boniface is saying over at Beam, I find the climb to the radar station the toughest. I think Pierre Ficati is having power dropouts. He's experienced a lot of them lately. Understood. So that's probably what is happening there. It's too bad to hear, as he is definitely one of the favorites here. Haven't seen him race in quite a long time. Pierre Ficati, I think, had 111 kilometers in prior to jumping into this race, though. So that might have something to do with it. I think John Johnny Nobbit was letting me know that he had a whole lot in his legs already prior to jumping into this race. We do see him getting going again, so maybe it is a dropout situation, or maybe trying to wait up for a couple of the riders coming from behind up the mountain there. But it is N. Smith here out of Australia, it looks like, making his way to the group up ahead at 6.2 on the Go-Go Power Rangers here. Brazel now maybe can grab onto Smith's wheel as he comes by at a solid pace. It is 25 seconds still between Brazel and the rest of the group. Harper is the one to take up the lead now. Gagnon coming back to the group, so it looks like we're going to have a lead group of 5 riders as they make their way up the mountain today. As we get a nice little shot here, the rest of the riders behind will be winding their way up this section of the course. It is about 130 back or so to the riders that we can see. We do see Burrows here, who is able to catch up to Mr. Christian Weidman, who looks to be resting his legs up over that first little section of the climb, that 9% gradient. Now a little bit of a downhill here, trying to gain some speed into the climb, and now it looks like Christian's going to settle into a pace of about 3.7 or so watts per kilogram. Burrows here, then, out of the USA, sitting right on Jay Richards' wheel out of Canada. Kate Varnson here now as well, with Garcia from Team Experimental making his way up the course, sitting right around, it looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, inside the top 10. We'll see if he can hold on to it all the way to the top of the mountain today. Going to be a solid effort if he can do so, as there's a lot of riders coming on very strong now at this point. E. Greenberg here in the ZTR race coming out of the US of A. Then just a little ways up from Garcia, about 23 seconds. These gaps look pretty big. They're pretty big, but when it's on a mountain course like that, it actually, if you can put in a big dig, it's a little bit easier to bring back gaps, actually, when there are groups out there. As the group can't quite work together as well in order to increase their speed consistently, it becomes much more of a watts against watts there on, or at least watts per kilogram against watts per kilogram on a climb like this. So some of these guys might have been trying to hold on to a little bit. You don't want to ever let anybody go, but some of them may be able to slowly bring back any riders who have gone way over threshold. LaFontaine here now out of Canada. No heart rate monitor on, so cannot win the A race today, but definitely putting out a solid effort at the front here at 377 watts or so. If you are watching over at the Facebook, I do have chat open, just so you guys know. If you would like to chat at all about the racers or have any questions, want to throw any shout outs out there, you can do so. Brett Boniface is saying he races pro back east about Pierre Ficati. So it sounds like Pierre Ficati, one of the strongest riders out on course today. Looks like he may be having those dropouts. Just going to have a little easier climb up to the top of the mountain, as having those dropouts can be pretty frustrating. Brazel now here did get passed up by Smith and was unable to hold on to that wheel. These boys, though, are going so incredibly fast. They have already headed on up to the tower climb, and this is going to be the place where they can really cause some gaps if they can get away. If they do not get away and you burn too many matches over the top and the other riders can just stay with you, the attacks might happen on the downhill then as well. We'll see who can stick with it. It looks like it's going to be a lead group of 3 now at this point, as Tremolo, right along with Gagnon and LaFontaine now, are going to be battling out to the top of the tower, as Beck has fallen off pace, 5.2 still. If you can just find that extra tenth of a watt per kilogram or so, he may be able to get back with the front of this group. One ODZ rider there with them, Gagnon, right along with Harper, right on Beck's wheel there, just waiting in the draft that he's not getting whatsoever, though. But 4.8 watts per kilogram, right along with Beck here at 5.3, just ahead of him. You can see the tower off in the distance, and a 13% gradient is what they're feeling if they do have a smart trainer. They are definitely feeling the watts that they have to put out there out on course, though. 178 beats per minute coming from Gagnon. Tremola 174 or so. I'm going to head on over and see if we do have some live results coming from ZwiftPower.com. Nothing just yet. I have a feeling some of the watchers, as we were saying earlier, are not on this section of the course. Pierre Ficati, so much riding after 100 kilometers in the legs prior to the race start. So Johnny did see that he did have 111 kilometers prior to the race start today. So most likely just maybe taking it a little bit easier, getting a little bit of an effort in at the end of his little more than a metric century. So just going to back off, it looks like, and have a chill ride up to the top. We do see Garcia with one last little kick, trying to distance himself, it looks like, from Cave Arnson as well as Burrows here, just 2 seconds off the back of Varnson. It looks like Richard, this is a battle here. It looks like it's only about 10 seconds between these three. Still looking for a top 10 position here today in the ZTR race on the Mountain 8. Moving up a little ways, we do have Van Waddle here. It looks like coming out of Brazil with Greenberg. They actually have caught Garcia and taken up, it looks like, a few of those top 10 spots today. 183 beats per minute coming from Greenberg. I can do a couple of searches, though, over on Zwift Power. I'll go ahead and open up another browser. And if you ever want to do a search for any of these riders, you can do so very easily. All you got to do is in the top, do go to rider rankings. I'm sorry, not rider rankings. You can just go into zwiftpower.com and do a search. It looks like in the search bar up at the top, and I believe that will bring up anybody's name. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in Gagnon here, and we get, let's see here. Actually, it's actually under racing, and then you go under rider name, excuse me, put in Gagnon, do a search, and bam, we got a loading here. We should get a couple of Gagnons, and we do. Alexander Gagnon, Gabriel Gagnon, Jules Gagnon, and Clark Gagnon have all done some racing or riding out on Zwift that has been recorded by ZwiftPower.com. I click on Alexander Gagnon's name, and I can see here Gagnon, like a canyon, 111 races to date. He has an estimated FTP of 327 watts, and he's currently at the front of the ZTR right now in that ODZ kit with the blue Tron bike. It looks like the last race he did was on the 22nd, so 2 days ago, Ottawa Top Speed race. He averaged 4.23 watts per kilogram in that race and took a third place in that race. It looks like he did take a first place in this Castelli Saturday Showdown race that was put on by ODZ. It looks like a first place with 4.82 watts per kilogram in that race. So solid rides for him in the last two races he did. There was a fourth, and then another win in the ODZ Coffee Ride back on January 10th. But it looks like Stromolo might be the rider to unseat him in his last winning streak that he's been having as of lately, as he is going off the front like crazy here at about 6 watts per kilogram. I'm going to check out Stromolo right now over on ZwiftPower.com, see what he's got. 19 races total coming from the United States, estimated FTP of 391. He does have a Strava profile connected, it looks like, but I have 19 races, but they are all Strava results, which is interesting. So all the Strava results, there are 19 races here, and we do not have Zwift results, though, which is interesting. So on the 22nd, he did take a first place, it looks like, with, 4.36 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race there in the TSM Winter Series. No heart rate monitor was on, so it was not able to win that. But he did win the ZTR Thursday night training race on the 12th, it looks like, and then got a second also in the same ZTR training race on a Thursday, it looks like, in the A race on the 5th. So solid results coming from Stromolo, and he does have, it looks to be, a little bit of a gap here over Gagnon. It looks to be about 27 seconds now. It's going to be a battle here for Gagnon to get back on terms with the front of this race, as Stromolo is absolutely hammering off the front. If anybody has any familiarity with the rider at the front here, because I am completely unfamiliar with this rider, I'm going to go ahead and open up his Strava profile actually and see if there are any. He's coming out of New Jersey, it looks like, and I'm wondering if there's a Cat 1 Elite Cyclist level here coming into the race today. Probably absolute. I mean, he's absolutely hammering here. 5, 6, 7 watts per kilogram off the front here. Does a lot of Zwift racing, it looks like, actually. And Also riding outside quite a bit though, down near near his area. So Brett Boniface is saying that JT just about cracked. He is at this point this morning now. That is a tough rider, Boniface is saying. LaFontaine has no heart rate. Yeah, that's correct, Leon. There is no heart rate currently there. We are seeing Tim Wyrick over at the Facebook feed. How's it going, Tim? Did the KISS European race today. Category is Zwift Power having problems with the results. Got you, Tim. Understood completely. Stromolo here now does have 25 seconds over Gagne. Lafante is here with Beck right on his wheel. And you know what's going to happen here? Beck is just going to sit there because he's not going to be chasing down Gagne unless he sees an opportunity to full on attack LaFontaine and not drag him back up to his teammate's wheel. So LaFontaine, Beck now. Smith here, 40 seconds back with a solid all day long Go-Go Power Rangers, 113 RPMs at 178 beats per minute. Definitely getting a workout at 178, 177 on the Go-Go Power Rangers with that 114 RPM though. Harper here, 4.2. Jay Brazel now making his way down the mountain after he climbs the tower at 167 beats per minute. Let's make sure to check out Brazel's results. This is a rider who's been super committed to racing out on Zwift for a long time. Always good to see Jeremy out here hammering. So I'm going to see how he's been doing as of lately, as I've not been following much of these evening racings as of lately. So if we go ahead and bring up his rider profile, 36 races it looks like, and Jeremy did take a third place back. It looks like all the way on October 5th. Is that correct? I'm going to bring up the Strava results. Yeah, it looks like October 5th is the last result that I have in ZwiftPower.com. That's really interesting. I'm going to just make sure that that's correct. Jeremy, you're probably going to watch this back. Make sure to message me, or if you're watching right now, if you can shoot a message over to me. We are friends on Facebook. Let me know if that's correct, that the last race that you've done is all the way back on the 5th. Maybe just jumping back into the world of Zwift racing and getting a really good result here with a top 10 right now. I am looking on over here. It looks like he has been doing a lot of rides though. It looks like he rode with Scotty, Mr. Scotty Weiss, just the other day, doing some FTP openers and then getting some rides on outside, it looks like, as well, which is good to see. Lots of long unstructured Z1, Z3, cool stuff, and a little bit of a break from the bike, it looks like, from Jeremy though, all the way from October through December. So maybe just jumping back into the world of cycling, getting his legs back underneath him. And this is a pretty amazing ride from him right now for just getting his legs back underneath him at 179 beats per minute, 323 watts, within the top 10 of some of the strongest boys out on Zwift in this worldwide platform. We do have C back here. It looks like LaFontaine was able to drag him up to Gagnon's wheel, and now it's going to be a ODZ 1-2 up against LaFontaine, and Shimolo though gone off the front at 4.9 watts per kilogram. And so it looks like this is going to be our lead group at this point, with Smith now trying to chase it down 30 seconds back on the Go-Go Power Rangers. Harper doing everything he can to hold off Brazel and maybe get back up to the Australians' wheel. Harper coming out of the US of A. It looks like Casey Shum gave us a host over at Beam. Thanks a lot for the host. Appreciate it very much. And I'm wondering if we do have Zwift Community Live up and going there. Did we get a dropout over at Beam? I'm just going to make sure. Looks like we do have a few viewers over at the YouTube channel as well. Good to see you guys over there. And it looks like we are working on over at Zwift Community Live. Good to see that everything is functioning there on the Beam channel. So it looks like we do have a few of our friends watching over at the Facebook channel. Good to see you guys over there. I'm going to call you out. Mr. James Hodges and Szymanski, good to see you guys hanging out at the Facebook channel on Zwift Community Live as well. James Hodges, I believe, raced earlier today, had a pretty good race in the KISS race earlier. Shimolo now, it is on the downhill section. That's all there is to be. So it's all downhill and then flat into the Essies to the finish line, I believe, from here on out. So I'm going to make sure that I got that correct, though. I'm going to head on over to the live results and just make sure that I'm looking at this course profile correctly. I've only done a few actually broadcasts of the mountain routes actually. And so as I'm looking here, I'm not seeing any more bumps though in the course profile, which is interesting. Maybe a little one here leaving Ocean Boulevard. So I'm wondering if they're going to actually turn around and go backwards on Ocean Boulevard or head back over toward the Essies. Maybe we can get a little bit of chat actually helping me out with that over on Facebook. Kyle May is saying, I saw that too, Tim. It makes it look like not a lot of people finished it today. So a ton of people finished. We do know that they did. So we're just going to have to wait and see if there's going to be any kind of update to the results. They'll probably be grabbed from Strava, I'm assuming, rather than from Zwift Powered. They'll just take a little while to update is what I am thinking. And anyone who did save it to Strava should be able to have it. Head left at the Jarvis tree, then to the Essies for the finish. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate the help. Are going to head down toward the mountain village here, and it is 50 seconds. It's still anyone's race with a group of 3 putting out 5 watts per kilogram at the front here, and a couple of ODZ boys who are really going to be willing to work together. I think that this is going to definitely be a battle here all the way to the end for Stromolo to hang on. I mean, he put out a solid effort to the top, right? He was putting out 4.9 to 5.5 watts per kilogram all the way to the top, right? And then he did that one last little kick, killer effort to the top. But then now he's got to be able to hold on to a pace like that all the way to the line. So Beck, Gagnon, and LaFontaine are going to have their work cut out for them, but I don't think it's all over just yet. Shimono now dropping out completely there, maybe just allowing his legs to rest up a little bit. I mean, he's got to be absolutely suffering. He's been putting out 173 beats per minute for quite a long time, a huge amount of wattage for quite a long time here. And so I'm going to go ahead and see what is Stromolo here as far as his max heart rates that we have seen from this rider. 186 max heart rate, which means at 173 this rider has been absolutely demolishing himself for quite a long time, actually, with 173 being probably right on that edge of his threshold. He's just holding down as long as he can at that threshold pace to try and hold off the chasers here. 55 seconds did go out over a minute, so they are bringing back seconds here and there, but they're gonna have to really work together and throw down somewhere in 5.5 to 6 at the front and then sit in. 5.5, 6 at the front, sit in. And it looks like they're not accomplishing that at this point. They might not have the energy for it, or maybe there's a little bit of infighting having LaFontaine there and not wanting to work too hard for him, or maybe they're just going to let Stromolo go and they're just willing to race for second at this point. We'll have to see what the ODZ boys are up to. Moving backwards, though, we do see that it is going to be N. Smith. It is out to 44 seconds. Doesn't look like he's going to be catching those boys as it continues to go out and they make that chase for Stromolo. Harper here now, 4.7. Brazel unable to close the gap down to Harper, but it looks like he's going to have this gap to Ridigic here, as well as Van Waddle out of Brazil for quite a long time. Pierre Ficati here chilling out, going to finish up the race. It looks like I think he is going to end up with almost 100 miles today. Garcia now 2.8 watts per kilogram, making his way down the mountain through the snow section as we get the mountain, the look down from the helicopter into the snowy section. Now, is this a change? I don't see any snow through here, and it used to be that I could not see anything. Maybe that's only when you are turned around and going uphill. Oh, there it is. We do have the fog. There it is. I was looking for the fog, wondering where it was, and there it is. You cannot see through the from the helicopter through the fog there. So it looks like Garcia going to try and hold off Burrows. He may be able to catch Pierre Ficati and get another spot. He's going to put a little bit of a fire underneath Pierre Ficati to try and hold on to this spot for the rest of the race. And now it looks like it is going to be Greenberg at 3.8 here with these other two. Another chase group of 3 trying to bring back Brazel. And they got to put out a little bit less, actually, on the downhill as they can work with each other, get the draft, and build up speed through those drafts, actually, on the downhill. Very easy to build up speed on the downhills in a group, just like in real life. Brazel here now, 62 kilometers per hour. The gap's coming down a little bit, but at 2 minutes, it's going to be really difficult to bring that back. Harper now now, 4.4. Ganyan still up toward the front here. It's still 55 seconds, not really gone anywhere. Now it's dropping, though, 52, 51, as Stromolo, I'm assuming, has gotten onto the flat section, 49 kilometers per hour, and these boys are coming at 70 kilometers per hour, but they got to take this speed into the flat. They've got to hold on to this kind of speed, or else they are not going to bring it back. 40 seconds, 41 seconds. This is not a whole lot of time, and you know that Stromolo's looking back at this point. It's a little bit of look over the shoulder as they can almost see him at this point as he enters the underground tunnel here back over to Ocean Boulevard. And they'll take a left-hand turn over toward Jarvis Tree and then head on over toward the marina, the monument, S-turns, and into the Italian Village for the final finish to the finish line through the SEs. And so now we do have Stromolo here putting out 5.5, trying to get away still. LaFontaine here, 4.8 watts per kilogram, heading toward the front, slowing it down actually, rather than speeding it up when he hits the front. So that's interesting that he's not actually speeding things up, and that might be a little bit frustrating for the ODZ boys, as they've been taking poles at 5+, and they got to keep that speed up or they are not bringing this boy back. 54 kilometers per hour, though. Quickly you do see, when you see those speed differences, the seconds start dropping. 46 here coming from Stromolo. LaFontaine 38 now, as we're seeing at 37, still counting down. I think they're going to catch this boy as they head into going into the uphill sections of the course. And we do see that Ben Cook is saying Stromolo is a monster rider out of New Jersey. Consistently podiums in the 1, 2, 3 races locally. Also raced several UCI races, including a win at Stage 3 of Joe Martin Stage Race in 2016. Thank you so much, Ben Cook, for that update. Extremely helpful for us to know who the riders are out here, especially for the viewers. So Chris Stromolo being a super strong road racer, it sounds like. C. Shum is saying driving and listening, got 1.5 hour drive to ball game. Any Team X racers? There are Team X racers out here. We got Garcia and Weidman. Garcia did fall off pace on the uphill, but is trying to gain a few places back. He's sitting just outside the top 10 at this point, and I think Weidman somewhere within the top 20 still. Christian Weidman, one of the first organizers of the ZTR races. I am hanging out. I can see all the chat, just so you guys know, over at the Facebook feed. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, interact at all, please do. Please bring all of the interaction that you would like to about the races today. You got any questions about Zwift Community Live, or what we're up to with the racing, or all the new events that are going to be coming to the page? Please go ahead and let us know. You can find on the Zwift Community Live page at the top, the pin post on our page does have the weekly schedule. That is the schedule for this week only. It will be updated every week and pinned at the top of the Facebook page. So you can see all of the different times that we will go live here on the Facebook page, as well as on our Beam, Twitch, and YouTube channel. You can always find all of the race and ride and event and coaching and talk show and all the different coverage that we are going to be bringing to ZCL on the Facebook page, as well as the YouTube for the videos on demand. So make sure, if you want more of this kind of content, to hit that like button on Zwift Community Live. It is the main place for all highlights on the highlights of the Zwift community in a live streaming format. So we do have Stromolo here, still 33 seconds, trying to hold on. Coming out of New Jersey here, monster rider from what Ben Cook is letting us know, out of New Jersey, trying to hold on to this gap over Beck and Gagnon. And Gagnon now has fallen. Well, actually, no, I think Beck has attacked, and Gagnon's letting them go. And what they're doing is they're trying to get rid of Lafante. They're trying to play a little bit of these cat and mouse games right now, probably. An attack and then maybe a bridge. An attack and then maybe a bridge is what I'm thinking they're trying to pull off here. We'll see if they can make that happen. Gagnon here, 4.1 watts per kilogram. I know that Gagnon's, I'm almost positive he has a little bit more than that to give. I'm going to search up Mr. Gagnon right now and see where his max heart rate lies. There are 4 of them. Zwift Power is loading it up for us right now, and we'll be able to get some metrics on the rider here. So it looks like Gagnon from Team ODZ His max heart rate we've seen from him is almost up into the 200s, 196 back on December 10th in the ODZ Goats and Bears race. So he's got a lot to work with here. This is definitely tactical, I think, at this point. LaFontaine maybe not doing his share of the workload, and in the Discord channel that they got set up, Gagne's probably like, hey, Beck, why don't you go ahead, take an attack off the front, see if you can hold off. We'll force LaFontaine to chase, and then maybe I can counter that, and we'll try and close this down a little bit quicker because it's only 30 seconds. And so 30 seconds left, and they're coming into the last 3 or 4K to go. It's going to be right down to the wire, but you can close down a gap like that pretty quickly. So we'll have to wait and see here. Luke Peterson's over there saying, anybody have any results from the Zwift workouts? I did the 6-week FTP builder. Now on the third 8-week race prep, FTP started at 214, over 250 now 8 weeks later. Factor in weight loss, and that's a huge improvement in watts per kilogram. Yeah, Luke Peterson, and I can tell you for sure that the indoor training and the consistency of using a trainer is a huge benefit. And so definitely something that a lot of people are finding to be the Zwift effect, that the consistency of riding a trainer and the amount of efficiency that you gain out of the consistency of the pedal stroke, the indoor training, the extra almost sauna ability that you can create sometimes indoors. Obviously, you want to use a fan at certain times, and other times, sometimes it's actually even smart. Now, don't overheat. I'm not but I'm just saying you can create a lot of different controlled environments in indoor training. And then you've got this whole international cycling is social group of people that are out there pushing you consistently and encouraging you on to put out those power numbers that are consistent day in and day out. And so, yeah, we see this time and time again, actually, with the workout mode as well as the events that are out on course, pushing people to a whole nother level in their training. See back here now from ODZ now, 5.0 watts per kilogram. We don't have Shimolo in sight any longer. We'll have to wait and see. Now we do see him dropping out though to 0 watts per kilogram. It's all the way out to 45 seconds. Somehow a huge gap has gone out again, and Stromolo now putting in one last effort here. 178 beats per minute, 4.7, 5.0 it looks like. It looks like he's going to be able to walk away with this one. It was down to 30 seconds, but it looks like this last little bit of the Essies, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. That's my prediction at this point. Not going to be quite enough to get back on terms with the front of the race. So it's going to be Beck, Gagnon, and LaFontaine fighting it out for second place, I believe, today in the ZTR America's race. Now Beck here still trying to hold off LaFontaine. Gagnon just sitting on that wheel, playing the ODZ tactics here. Very, very smart tactics they played here to allow Beck to go off the front and try and wear off LaFontaine, wear him out. And then Gagnon is going to have a few matches to burn, I think. 156 beats per minute. He's just sitting at tempo right now on that wheel of LaFontaine. And we'll see if LaFontaine's willing to continue on at the front here and pull Gagnon along. He's really being the workhorse right now. And we are seeing Daniel Yike in there saying maybe I need to ride the FTP for the workouts. Yeah, you know, depending on how much time you have to do the workouts, do the rides, a lot of times if you're constrained for time, some of the best workouts you can do are the more high intensity workouts, getting used to those workouts. And it's going to help with weight loss with the high intensity a lot of times. A lot of times the endurance and base training, while it is good for burning a lot of calories and getting rid of a little bit of that, it also can tend to put on a little bit of weight though, because you tend to respond in your body. Now it's good weight though, it's not bad weight, but you tend to respond in your body initially with your body trying to become more efficient, so it starts building up more glycogen stores, and it starts building up more water stores, and it starts doing all these things to hold on to as much resources as it possibly can when you're doing base miles. So the high intensity added in with the base miles, once you get used to all the big, longer endurance, usually that's the whole idea of having periodization, is you want to start adding things on and on a pyramid over time. And so, you know, I'm not discounting base miles at all. I do massive base miles, and I think it's a very important time to do them, especially right now heading into the season here on this side of the world in the Northern Hemisphere. But the reality of most people's lives, though, with the amount of time that they have in a week, is that maybe high intensity training, if you can't do big, huge rides over and over again, is going to be more beneficial. So, Daniel, you're on to something there. First time here, this is pretty cool. Hey, good to see you, Daniel. Thanks for joining in. If you want more of the content, make sure to hit that like and follow button on the Facebook page. Thanks for joining in for the race. Shimolo now here, and I would encourage you maybe to try out some racing on Zwift. It really, really pushes you. As a professional rider, I can say that Zwift racing is some of the hardest efforts I have ever done in my entire life, hands down. And so Shimolo now absolutely killing it off the front, 6.2 watts per kilogram. He's gone so hard that nobody else is showing up on course. I think actually it's because we are part of the event, and now the closest rider nearby or part of the event is my avatar. We have to be really careful not to click on that, and because otherwise we will end up inside of the pens and not able to see the rest of the race finish. It looks like Shimolo is going to pull this off with almost a minute, I think, off the front from the rest of the boys. As soon as he gets through the start-finish line, we will be able to see the rest of the riders out on course and click our way backwards here to find the other riders from the ZTR race. Congratulations to Mr. Chris Shimolo out of New Jersey for that win, bringing it home for the US of A. It's been a while since I've been able to say USA wins on the day, actually, as we have been covering so many of the European races. So good to see that. Now we are seeing the sprint now from Gagnon. Looks like they were able to catch Beck, and it's going to be Gagnon and Beck. ODZ going 2 and 3, rounding out that podium. Man, the tactics were real up against LaFontaine, who is going to bring it in for 4th place today. Solid effort all around from all of those boys. Now, bringing it back here, we're going to try and see what's happening with the rest of the A race. I think they were quite a ways back as those boys opened up a huge gap over the next chase group. So we're going to have to click for a little while here. When you do get toward the end of an event and you're watching somebody else and they cross the finish line, the event opens up at this point. And so because I'm no longer on my avatar, if I were to go to my avatar, I'd be in the event, and I would only see other people in the event. But since I was on somebody who is a part of the event, and they only saw those who are in the event in their list on the right-hand side, that is why all of a sudden you see all these people suddenly appear out on courses, because now I'm in the open world. But I still see in the lower right-hand side only 12 other people in the group. And that is because I am still in the group. So I don't see all the other people online because my avatar is still in the group. So that means as soon as I click on somebody who's in the group, we will be back in the group with only those people being seen that are actually in the race event. So we are clicking back here, and there's Brazel, no man's land, it looks like, with 128 over Greensburg and Von Watto and Rid Gick there as well out of the US of A. It looks like those three are going to battle it out to the line. Brazel going to be bringing it in here for a solid result, it looks like. I'm going to see if I can get some live results from Zwift Power here now. I'm assuming they're going to have a watcher hanging out over at the finish line. So if they do, we should have some live results. Luke Peterson is, and so I'm seeing here, Mike Mitchell is saying, should I race when doing the 6-week FTP builder or wait until after? I would throw maybe one race in a week. I would do it either far away from any of your FTP specific high intensity work, or you can do some back-to-back work. And I would probably do the race first in a shorter race and then do the FTP work the next day. Zwift on Board was going to be today. We were going to use it in this one today, but we didn't have anybody in the, I went ahead and looked in Zwift on Board, and I'm not seeing any live feeds. Oh, actually, I do have one. Speaking of, Here we go, boys and girls. Actually, we do have one, Mr. Christian Weidman. We can see exactly where Christian is at. Thank you so much for saying that, because I didn't even realize we did have one Zwift on board rider. We can see Christian Weidman, the organizer of the ZTR races, right there, heading into the Italian Village section of the race. Out in no man's land, putting out 5.5 watts per kilogram. Mr. Weidman absolutely killing it. Great job to him, and a huge thank you to him, as this race series would not exist without some of his efforts in when we were originally getting going in Zwift. So 163 beats per minute with that solo TT effort. Let's see you get into a TT effort there, Christian. Come on now, buddy. There he goes. Stands and goes, finishing it up. Great job. Now we do have a sprint here up toward the finish line with M. Van Waddel, with Greenberg and Ridgik now as well. It looks like the Brazilian rider is going to be able to get away from the others, but it's going to be the man coming out of the USA getting the better of the other American, Greenberg, at the line, somewhere within, I think, the top 15 or so. Thanks to Christian, now we will be able to see a little bit of the action going through the Italian Village as he's trying to get back with Richard. Jay Richard there, about 35 seconds up from Weidman from Team Experimental. And so at 162 beats per minute and hanging in with a few other riders, he may be able to get pulled up to Richard's wheel. It is 33 seconds out to him, though, so it's going to be a hard effort to try and make that happen. We are looking for Pierre Ficati and Garcia coming to the line right now. It looks like his teammate battling it out from ODZ, and there's the kick that we know from Garcia up into the thousands. And man, you don't ever want to sprint against this boy, as he's got the kick. Might not be able to go with the FTP up and over the mountain, but he can throw down quite the effort to the line. Pierre Ficati, though, with I think almost 100 miles in his legs. So just going to stroll across the line now. We are going back then to our Zwift on boarder right now. Christian Weidman bringing it back within 29 seconds of Jay Richard. Let's see if he can grab a power up here coming through the sprint section. Maybe be able to bring it back in to, it's going to come right down the line. 30 seconds can be made up if he's got enough kick to make that happen. We'll have to see what kind of effort Christian's got left in the legs. We do have Burrows here now just crossing the line, it looks like, for somewhere within the top 20, I believe. We are waiting for a few updates from ZwiftPower.com. There was a little bit of server maintenance, I think, going on over at Zwift, and so I think the watchers all got kicked out. Everybody got kicked out, boys and girls. So Daniel Yike is saying, what is average watts per kilogram for the races A, B, C, or D? So we are getting answers. Thank you so much for answering all of the questions for us, Luke Peterson. So as you were saying, D is 2.5 or less. We can see in the A category 4.0 or higher, and he's got them all laid out for you right there. Thank you so much, Luke. That is extremely, extremely helpful, actually. So now looking through here, Zwift on board is working great for us, and really exciting to be able to grab a few pictures here coming from Mr. Christian Weidman. I think he's actually the only one, though, that we have right now. I've loaded about... Right now, I have about 20 Zwift on board feeds that are loaded and ready to go, but I do not believe, I don't believe there is anyone else. I might have missed one or two, as we do have up to 50 riders, actually, that can do Zwift on board with us. I didn't get quite all of them loaded into the new software today, but we will, now that we've got it running. It's been a long time coming to get this all set and ready to go. We're going to have a huge stream on Thursday, KISS EU night race. You guys be there. We're going to do it on Zwift's Facebook. It's going to absolutely rock. And we're going to try and get as many Zwift on boarders and see that real-life pain cave effort being thrown down. So Zwift on Board West Bryant is a software that has been developed by a few of the community members in conjunction with Zwift Power, KISS, and myself, to be able to bring you guys the live action that we're seeing right here, right now, of Christian Weidman from his point of view with his webcam, holding down right now 173 beats per minute, absolutely working. You can see the suffering right now. And 319 watts, trying to bring back Richard. He does not have a power-up, though. Richard's putting out 3.4. We can see Weidman here trying to come all the way to the line right now to get back with the rider that's just ahead of him. I'm going to see if I can get this on my feed as well. We can go back and forth between the two. Richard here, 2.9. We can see exactly what he is up to here as we look over Richard's shoulder now. There he is trying to hold off Weidman at 8 seconds back, 4.0 watts per kilogram coming from Weidman. Now, this is what Zwift on Board is all about. It can bring you right back into Weidman's perspective, going as hard as he can to bring back Richards. Now he's throwing down 5 watts per kilogram, 6 watts per kilogram, absolutely killing it. It's 7 seconds, but there's only 300 meters with 7 seconds to go, and I think it's going to be Richard at the line, just barely going to be able to pull this off, it looks like, as Weidman is doing everything he can. There's Richard's perspective, and right back to Weidman right here from a first-person point of view, but it is 3 seconds as Richard has already crossed the line, as you can see here. And there's Weidman bringing it in for 15th place, though, on the day before the official results come out from the KISS boys and the ZTR boys and the ZwiftPower.com. Solid ride there, Christian Weidman. Great job, as you can see the results there. Thanks for bringing the results, actually. Weidman, stay right there if you can hear me. Stromolo, Gagne, and Beck, Lafante, Harper, top 5, Brazel, Von, Waldo, Ridgick, and Greenberg, and Garcia for the top 10. And then we have Pierre Ficati and Levitt Burrows, Varnson, Richter, and Weidman for 15th. Perfect finish, actually, for us, as he brought us right in to the action with that top 15. Thanks a lot there, Christian, and good to see you out there racing, buddy. Wow, awesome job. Lots of fun, everybody. Great race by everybody. And it looks like that'll be it for the top 15 in the A race right now. I'll see if I can bring us back to a few others. It says that there's 12 more in the event still. A few of the ZTR Bs now just coming across. It looks like Brian Patterson from Vision Cycling, one of our elite riders actually in real life, out there doing a workout in workout mode. Good to see Brian hammering away out on course. Give him a little shout out and a ride on. So moving back now, we do see, it looks like maybe we can catch a few of the Bs riders. If we don't find them very quickly, though, and without Zwift Power updating, and no Johnny Noblet from the shed in Edinburgh, we might have to call it short and just cover the A race today. I think maybe Zach maybe might be bringing it in for the B race today. Hammering away here right on the wheel of B Nergard here. Both in kickers, in kicker kits here. And actually these guys are looking like they're like matching teammates. Like they've got the same bike almost, Wahoo kicker setup. I mean, if these guys have been working together all the way to the finish line, they both got about the same kilometers in to the line here. Are they going to battle it out? They've got the original Zwift kit. I think these boys may be a little bit new to the world of racing. I thought I recognized that name, though. And now we are looking here. It is going to be a battle of the line as Nergard's last little kick. Kolzak with that kick, though. Look at this, 12 watts per kilogram, but I think he went a little bit too late. You can't be the last one to go, but he's got way more to give, up into that 12, and it's going to be Kolzak out of the US of A in that B race, taking it over Nerdsgaard there. Solid effort. I think this is going to be Fersen and Gagne making their way to the line. B. Kelly then, too, going right on by. And it looks like it's going to be Fersen trying to catch up. Gagne now with Fersen on his wheel. It looks like it's going to be Gagne out of Canada, followed by Fersen. Moving through here, I'm going to see if there are any C riders. It looks like this may be the first C rider across the line with a huge kick. NCVC ZTR, 11 watts per kilogram, absolutely demolishing those pedals right now. And we're saying Jose Luis Camacho Rivas is, what's a good workout on Swift to build up your watts per kilogram? 6 week is a good one. Trying to first do your FTP test so that you have a good idea of where things are at. And then from there, you should do a lot of work that is right underneath or right at or right above. And depending on what kind of work you're doing, right below will probably be doing tempo rides that are somewhere between, tempo efforts, somewhere between 20 minutes to even up to 2 hours, depending on what kind of level that you are riding at. We do have Wilson right around with the grip on here, making his way to the line. So that is your tempo efforts, zone 3 efforts or so, once you do know your FTP, can range from that 20 to all the way, even 10 minute if you need to start there. And then you can work your way into then more of your zone 4 or your right at FTP or 95% of FTP, right around there. You're doing those for like 20 minutes or so, or even less, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. And then if you're going a little bit above FTP, right at that 105%, 110%, 120%, you're looking at doing those somewhere in the 5 to 10 minute range, maybe. And then, if you really want to get into some VO2 max stuff, when you start getting closer to an event that you want to do, or you want to get in some racing, or you just want to get some really high intensity efforts in, 120% plus of FTP for much shorter periods of time, 5 minutes or less. So lots of efforts like that you can find in the Zwift workouts. D. Adams just making his way, it looks like, for a cool down. Looks like we are looking for a few more ZTR riders. I have a feeling that we may run out of riders. Oh, here we go. We do have one last little kick, it looks like, to the line. Horgan here right along with Dubak, and then it looks like Colom now too. It looks like Horgan out of Norway. Late night ride for him, 6.8 watts per kilogram, getting ahead of the Canadian now at 6.7. So it is going to be Horgan in this battle to the line in the B race, and there is going to be a couple of C riders now just making their way across the line, I think within the top 10 in the C category. ZwiftPower.com now, don't have an update just yet, so I think they're still getting the watchers out on course. Jose Luis Camacho Rivas, thanks for doing this. No problem. If you want more content just like this, make sure to hit that follow button. I think that's going to be our coverage then for today, as I don't have a whole lot of idea as to where people are at right now. If you're interested in more content like this, make sure to hit the follow button and the like button above. We'll also get more information here. Just a second. I'm going to bring up a new input for our images here for the schedule, which you can also find pinned at the top of the Facebook page here on Zwift Community Live. But we also have a weekly schedule that is updated every week. And here is the weekly schedule, right? No, that's Christian's view. See if we can bring this in here. So there it is. So this is the weekly schedule as of this week. So we are done with broadcast for today. Yesterday, we had the KISS second base race, which is a beginner race. If you're just getting into racing, that's a great way to actually increase your FTP and get stronger out in the world of Zwift and in the real world. Second base race, C and D riders are encouraged to join that race. A and B riders are discouraged to join that race. It is specifically for people who are just getting going into the world of racing, or who are in the categories that would hold somewhere between 0 and 3.2 watts per kilogram, not over 3.2 watts per kilogram for their FTP. Yesterday, this morning, we did Life in Cycling with Mrs. Coach, 7 tips on how to get leaner in 2017. So if you want to check out some coaching tips and hang out with Mrs. Coach Lindsay Guerra this morning, make sure to watch the replay on that. That is over on our YouTube as well as here on our Facebook. The KISS Europe race went down awesome. Brett Boniface from ODZ winning that race today, 2 p.m. CST in the KISS Europe night race. Great job to Brett Boniface on that. And then the ZTR Americas is what you were just watching today. 5 p.m. CST was the start time, and we had Stromolo off the front. Chris Stromolo with the win there with a solid effort, and then 2 ODZ boys taking down the next 2 places, Beck and Gagnon. So great job to those boys on their top finishes today. For all the results, make sure to head on over to ZwiftPower.com, and it'll probably be about 24 hours, I think, before they can get things sorted with that server maintenance that was happening on Zwift. And as you can see tomorrow, SZR Race Series, if you are in the community and you've got got something awesome you want to show off on Zwift Community Live with live streaming, you don't have to be the live streamer. We can bring you in for a chat through Discord or other kinds of ways to communicate with us. If there's something awesome about Zwift or you in real life in relation to Zwift, you've got some coaching stuff that you're doing through Zwift with groups of riders, you're running events, you have a group or a team or a ride that you run that you'd love to be highlighted, we can work out a way to get that highlighted in the live streaming format with Zwift Community Live. That's what that's all about. That's what this is all about. Examples of that would be Life in Cycling Mrs. Coach, Drop Lactic Acid with Zuzkana and her workout schedule going on Fridays at 10 p.m. We've got also the Team X Racer Focus. We're going to add some KRT Racer Focus. Team X is also going to be doing some group rides run here live. We'll be adding the Friday Criterium as well to the Friday coverage. And then, so lots and lots of stuff coming down the pipeline. So make sure to contact us if you want to get involved, or make sure to follow the channels in order to get all of the updates on that content. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow for the SCR Racing Series. I will be riding later tonight on my personal channels, lots of personal channels that we've opened up over at the beam.pro website for live streaming. Lots of Zwift Community Live networking over there in order to build up their personal streams that are not highlighted on the Zwift Community Live tent that we're all underneath now. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for the SCR Race Series. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Cheers.